We're just needing to add permissions on the Zoom call for us real quick.
Perfect. Like the ones that you're with.
Oh. Over. Bugs too, so you one. Source sauce, I feel like this room. Feels a little warm.
It's just because outside's so cold.
That's probably true.
This room's pretty nice.
If not, it'll get cold fast. So since this track gets done earlier, right? I think this one gets done earlier. So Fred and I have to like transition the Zoom to the final presentation in EH 130. So would like, are you cool with being with Eli and the other? The final team?
Yeah,
Okay, if not,
yeah, I mean, what do you mean? Like on the schedule, it says I'm here this week all day.
gotcha.
But what are you asking? If I just,
Like if you wanted to be with Eli and the other one. Was it?
oh, like over there?
Yeah, because as soon as this one's done, Fred and I are gonna haul ass to 1:30 and try and set up that Zoom. So
Yeah.
Evan can get on that,
Right.
the cat's guy.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Do you have a schedule?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure. Okay. Yeah, we're not doing it.
Okay. How do we transition here? Is the schedule on here?
It's on canvas. I got it.
It's kind of hard to read. Because on the schedule, it says transition to EBH 1:30 for me and Fred at 11. That doesn't work if I'm in. Unless the schedule just goes to two people, not like one person.
I think that's what it does.
Okay.
Because I think I'm the only person in here from, I'm on the bottom, and then like, yeah, I'm the only person in here until just a little bit, like until 12, and then it's just like shut down.
Okay, that makes sense. So you guys will be in here 11, then we'll leave, go set up the other one. Or did it end in here?
Yeah.
Like it ends at 11, but then they still have you
Yes, yeah, because then it says shut down, shut down, shut down. So then you should like breaker and budget, but like for like an hour, I'm like, shut it down. Gotcha.
Yeah, I'm supposed to do the introduction.
Okay,
I did.
yeah, that's better actually. I thought like we left as soon as this track was over. But that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just stick around here.
Unless you do other things.
Just like giving some sort of speech in there. We started. And so I think that one's starting a little sooner. So we figured it out. Like it's weird. I also we have to make sure that while the judges are deliberating in their rooms that they have access to. Yes.
That's worried.
No, I'm all good. That's the least of your worries. You're totally cool.
Switch to 130.
This is our faculty, so it's kind of.
I said with enthusiasm.
It's horrible because you know, provost likes to tell me she's really good. She always asks permission. She's always like, Michael, you know, we need to ask you.
Right.
And of course, like I bash her like really bad, right? Because that's my job, right?
Right.
And but she just takes it really well, and she doesn't like. It's just, but anyways,
That's what he did.
Okay.
Everybody was gathered hither.
We were here on the weekend. It's not the meeting.
Yeah, that was good.
Change gears.
Yeah, exactly.
yes,
I'm gonna
yes, different focus.
redefine this room.
Right,
So,
There you go.
no, it's just really funny.
Except the hammer.
It's a tough job. Make lots of enemies. Yes, you do. How are you?
Yeah, absolutely.
More Roy. Nice to see you.
Hey, Roy.
Morning, sir. Morning, how are you? Nice to see you.
Cool. Start.
Yeah, a few minutes.
Yeah, that's good. I like it.
You
I like the
built in
few
buffers.
minutes. What's that?
You built in buffers,
We've learned.
just in case.
We've learned.
I brought one pen today. I don't know what else it- I found it.
I brought like multiple clickers and just.
That was smart.
No, it's really cool. judges in just 3 minutes. So then they're gonna come over here or? Those are all our judges, right? No.
That's one set.
That's one set of judges. We have another set of judges. And then we have another set for the grade. All right. Of course, it's like. He's like, you're not gonna use them? You're like, you have the most prestigious one. Right? You know, you're the top. And he's like, oh, okay.
Yeah,
Let's go. And he's like, no, man, like, we're like, you're like the top.
Right.
Come on. So that was a lot of fun.
I don't know how to like necessarily do different types in here too. How about there? So you need to project there. Be able to transition.
What's going on? Change the slides.
I'll take some photos.
You all ready for your representation Tuesday? That's good.
Yeah,
So Mr. Markham's all set.
Yeah, so we'll constantly have,
Lynn will be there.
so every time somebody finishes.
Gail will be there.
And so the sponsor slide will just be up.
So she'll only come there.
Practiced this last time so much because every time I go up there, I get nervous. Like since I'm up there, but now there's gonna be more people up there. I feel like
But the thing is, you've done this so many times, right? Like, you know, this RFP better than, I'd say, the vast majority of the week. So that's good.
something weird. As soon as somebody's there, it just.
Well, also, it's the former CEO of Lockheed Martin Space, right? Like, you're not gonna be able to bullshit him. Like, I mean, the guys, I mean, he ran the company. Yeah, it's cool. Oh my goodness, you okay?
No, I'm okay. No, just think.
Yeah, no, it's really cool.
It's always joy. I'm just glad I didn't read
He's
anything.
also the
Yeah,
father.
Have any award
Lisa
on that one?
Before is gonna come, and she's.
It's like they grab the handle and use the razor.
Yeah.
Sometimes you sit there, those they go all the way to the bottom.
You know, awesome. And then I think Joe Rice will join us. He's the head of.
Yeah, there you go.
It's hard, right? It's hard to get it just really narrowed down. So you just do it 30 to 60 seconds. That's
Thanks for testing that.
So Noah is in the Lockheed Martin course. And so Noah has been learning how to respond to RFPs from Lockheed Martin to his captain position. And they're responsible for $135 million every single day. 365 days a year.
If you're doing RFPs for Lockheed.
Yeah, Beth King's the head is, she's a rock star. And so that's who's learning from, is Beth King. So, yeah, it's pretty darn cool. But stressful. It's stressful, but it's cool. It's really cool.
I was in the aerospace industry and I had a $35 million budget that just for engineering.
Yeah, no question.
Yeah, none.
And that's like a rounding error, right, for that industry, because my gosh, I mean, it was still insane.
Oh, yeah, we did anything more than $50,000, proposal to, $2 million. So I supported all the engineers. Okay, you're not spending your budget. You're spending too much. You're running out of money. What do I do? It's like, you're the engineer, just don't spend beyond this point.
Grab the judges in 2 minutes.
She already.
Please.
Yeah, those, all that documentation.
No, we don't.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you should see it.
Give you like
She can search some stuff, like, yeah. It's a really complicated RFP too.
It's good experience. Put that on your resume.
Yeah, okay, I'm gonna grab the judges.
Do you know that?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're gonna sit up front?
No, I saw y'all practicing.
Hi.
Awesome.
Judges up front.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think so, yes.
You know, it was really cool to watch. Let's get you down here.
Here. All right. Make sure I don't fall on the steps.
Yes, do not do that.
Not on the steps.
Okay.
Note to self.
Lights right behind.
I like the shadows on your face.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no, they're better on your face. Oh, my gosh, you look like one of those New Zealand tattoo.
Maoris, that's right.
Oh, yeah, blue.
I'm just gonna start doing the haka. Yeah, that's all right.
That would be awesome.
Yeah,
That'd be awesome.
That would be awesome.
Back to school.
It's funny, like they shrunk, haven't they? The desks have shrunk.
I don't think it's.
At least you have E-class homework.
Right.
You'll be done.
Right, you'll be done in no time.
Yeah, great.
That is awesome.
No, I did this thing a couple years ago for work and I had to go to Columbia. I was there for a couple weeks and it was like, it was a real experience. It was like the information. No, we already got to take tests. Like, we learned some math. It was amazing.
Put you to work, huh?
Yeah, they put me to work. Willie. Yeah.
Students, you ready? Okay, cool. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the 2020 Hawk Tank Business Plan Competition here at Fort Lewis College in beautiful Durango, Colorado. It is an absolute pleasure to have you all here, have you online. A lot of excitement today, a lot of work. Sort of coming to a conclusion today. I want to introduce my partners in crime from San Juan College. We have Professor James Sanders. We have Dean Eddie Rawlinson. Gentlemen, you want to say a couple words?
You go first.
This is just really a privilege and an honor to be able to be a part of this experience. We know that our students have invested from both colleges a lot of time, energy, and effort into this process. We're very excited for them and really what's to come from this experience today. So we're ready for the competition to actually get started.
And Dr. Valdez, thank you, and Dean Elias, as well as everyone here at Fort Lewis College for inviting us for our second year. This time we're live, which is great. Last year was our first year to participate, and now we're all here and we have a great time online, but this is even more fun. I do want to thank our Board of Trustees at San Juan College, Chairman Joe Razor, as well as our President, Dr. Pendergrass, and Four Corners Innovation, as well as our foundation for supporting this, as well as our rest of our sponsors. But this is an incredible opportunity for all of you students. We've been hearing about some things already that you're working with. And this is really where everything you've been learning in the class, you're now putting into practice. And the experiences you've had during this process are ones you're going to experience in the business world. Team working, research, more research, more research. And again, we're all here for you as students, all of us. If it weren't for you students, we wouldn't be here. So we're supporting you as you go forward into the world to follow those goals and career pathways, along with your educational pathways. And we're here to support you in that. And I feel very honored to be part of that, and James to be part of this from San Juan. And we're just excited to be here today. Judges, we want to thank you for all your hard work. We know this is a lot as well for you. And any of you out there listening, we welcome you and thank you for being here today. One thing we were discussing is we're already starting talking about next year. Keep in mind, this just isn't a school of business opportunity. This is a cross-disciplinary effort. So any of the other schools here at Fort Lewis College, all right, San Juan College, if you've got an idea, that's all you need. That's right. We will guide you through the rest of the process. These students have been working so hard since the beginning of the semester. We will walk you through that process. So all it takes is that idea. So we encourage you to participate and start thinking about what you want to do and compete in this competition next year. So thank you all again and have a great day.
Well, thank you, gentlemen, so much. Want to do a couple more sort of shout outs. Want to say a big thank you to my co-director, Dr. Lorraine Taylor. She really makes the magic happen. When you see the students kind of running around here, those are actually students that are putting on the competition. So we've integrated this into our event management class, into Dr. Taylor's event management class. And so we're bringing sort of their book learning to reality. And so they're actually running an event, they're given a budget, they have to structure it. And so really this event is really put on by students for students. We also had some great contribution from Beta Alpha Psi. That is our National Honor Society for Accounting and Finance. And they actually provided consulting to our Hawk Tank teams, because that's always a challenge in terms of the forecasting and the financing. And we really, like Dean Rawlinson is saying, is we want to make this accessible to all students, regardless of what discipline. So thank you, event management. Thank you, Dr. Taylor. Today, in this track, we have 5 teams competing for ultimately maybe grand prize of $10,000. So that's really exciting. The teams that will be presenting today for the Fort Lewis College track will be Parking Saver, Lilia's Garden, Headwater Hydration, Mountain Pole, and Sustainable Solutions. Also, as for our judges, thank you, judges. I know it's a lot of time and effort to go through all of this material. So Allison Eichley, the La Plata County Treasurer, thank you so much. Molly Myrna from Swan Global Investments, and then Bill Luthi from Baird Wealth Management. Thank you, judges, for everything. And our students are really excited to get your feedback so you can help them sort of grow and kind of take that next step. So thank you so much. Well, finally, I want to say thank you to all of our generous sponsors, our supporting sponsor, Four Corners Innovation, and then, of course, a big shout out to our presenting sponsor, Baird Wealth Management, for once again really helping make this happen. So enough of us. Good luck, Hawk Tank finalists. Really excited to see your presentations, and can't wait to see how it all plays out. Thank you so much, everyone.
Saber?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, if you want to get set up.
Wait a little bit. Yeah. But I think they want to keep it on schedule time. Gotcha. I'll wait. She said that we're not. I shared, okay. You'll let me know, okay.
Perfect, thank you so much.
No, I'm doing better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can still do that. Like what we're gonna do at the end, like, go if you go, and then we go rest. If we decide.
It's taking a good chunk. You see if we do
Well, I mean, you can.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll just.
Yeah, there's one.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
Yes, you.
I mean, we definitely, that's why we have to use 6, 9, 11. So it's definitely, you know, in a small town like Durango, it's where you opportunities for with its due.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know, I sat in it and I thought like I was done. I was like, I'm gonna go home. I thought because there's like a hook here. And I thought it was gonna like slice my face. Yeah.
But you could have survived.
So I think this time I'm gonna be pretty good.
Bathroom. You got it.
I think it's right here.
It's not been any money, so.
No, it's that's just a slider too.
I just was thinking about
Increase 4 years.
It's gotta be right.
Also, gotcha.
Oh, does it know? There's nothing in here. Well, let's see if it's.
Yeah.
Let's see that.
Gotcha. No, no. Yeah. Gotcha.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Okay, if everybody wants to bring your attention to the front, we're gonna start with our first presenter, Aria, and she's gonna be doing parking safety. Thank you. My name is Aria, and I'd like to present to you Parking Saver today.
Do you have a microphone?
Microphone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Make sure it's turned on.
Testing. Is that better?
Did it work?
I don't know. Is it? I think it is working.
Yeah.
It's working. One second.
So one of the things that's difficult in
Yeah.
a presentation is you're going to want to stand here because that's where normally in a presentation, but in order to hear you, we have to.
Speak in the microphone.
Yeah.
Sounds good. All right, and we'll be going through these key points today. So there's a problem on our college campus and many other campuses across the country. Parking is a huge issue. It takes, there was a study conducted at Mount San Antonio College that 68% of the students reported that it took at least 15 minutes or more to find parking. And 32% indicated that it took more than 30 minutes. And that's a lot of time that students and faculty could be spending inside the classroom or just being more productive. My solution is Parking Saver. Parking Saver is a mobile app available from your smartphone that will show drivers exactly where on a college campus the available parking spots are in a given lot. So the app will notify the driver of where exactly the parking spots are. So for example, if the app shows the driver that there's 2 parking spots in parking lot A versus 10 parking spots in parking lot B, they're much more likely to go to parking lot B to begin with and not have to drive around multiple lots in a given day. And this is not only going to help students, but it's going to cut down on CO2 emissions on college campuses. So my business model for Parking Saver is that I want to add it as an enhanced service in addition to the traditional pay to park service. So right now students have to purchase a parking permit, but all this does is guarantee that they don't have a ticket. It doesn't guarantee them a parking spot. So right now I want to add this as an optional based subscription service for $30.99 per month. So it's affordable for students. And in order to make this mutually beneficial for Parking Saver and college campuses, I want to implement a 10% of profits so that they can benefit as well. And one of my long-term goals with Parking Saver is to eventually replace the traditional pay to park on college campuses so that students can pay directly through the app. And you might be wondering, well, how is all of this possible? Well, through surface mount technology. And this is a technology that other parking apps on the market have implemented. And N-Wave is a potential supplier that we're considering to implement. But this technology has been out there, and basically what happens is the sensor will pick up on a car, and that will go directly through the app so the user can see exactly if there is an available spot or not. So what makes Parking Saver different? Well, unlike other apps in the market, Parking Saver is the solution designed specifically targeted at college campuses where it has not been served yet. So here at Fort Lewis College is where I want to start Parking Saver because I've seen it. I've seen parking a huge problem on our campus community. And not only will this help save students and faculty time and money, but it will add value to the entire campus community because we can hire student workers to install the sensors. And this is going to cut down on costs. So how are we going to market and sell to our customers? Well, we're going to first start with social media advertisements through Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and like Fort Lewis is on an Instagram. We're going to advertise to the campus. So when students go to pick up their parking pass, the campus parking department can say, did you know about this optional service called Parking Saver that you can add, that you can purchase directly through the App Store? And the Fort Lewis College app has become really popular for students to receive communication on. So that's another app we're hoping to market through. In addition, we're also trying to implement a 3-week free trial period so drivers can see the app happening and they can use it for themselves so they can see how much time it's really saving them. And this can be really great, like a try before you buy. And we're also going to make it a monthly subscription so you can cancel anytime. It's completely risk-free. So as mentioned earlier, there's quite a few competitors on the market. Best Parking, Spot Hero, ParkMe, and Parking Mate, they all have one thing in common. They only target large cities and large parking garages. There currently hasn't been an app designed specifically for college campus parking. And a little bit about me, I'm a senior studying accounting and business analytics. And as a student who's commuted to campus all 4 years, I've experienced the difficulty of parking on a college campus. So I want to implement this at Fort Lewis College to begin with before expanding to colleges and universities across the country. So not only is Parking Saver a great business for students, but it has the potential to make 1.2 million in free cash flows by year 5, as you can see right here. There are high startup costs, so you can see that we'll be needing $10,000 to start Parking Saver. But this is once the installation, so the parking sensors will be the highest upfront cost. But once those are installed, the maintenance is quite low and we'll be able to generate cash flows over the 5 years. And within the first 6 months, I hope to get Parking Saver fully implemented across the entire Fort Lewis College campus. And then by year 5, I hope that we'll be able to expand across other colleges and universities as well. So where are we at in the process? Well, right now, we need to form partnerships with college parking and hire app developers and student workers to install the sensors. And once that's completed, we can then launch the app for drivers to start using. In summary, the funding that we'll need to start Parking Saver is $10,000. But it has the potential to create $1.2 million in free cash flows over 5 years. There are high upfront costs, but very long-term profits. And with parking sensor technology, key partners, and startup funding, I know that Parking Saver will be a very profitable business. Thank you so much.
Now we're going to open up the floor to the judges if you have any questions for Aria.
I'll start out a little bit. So I'm curious, I thought you did a very good job of presenting the problem statement, you know, and that was well defined. What I'm curious about is why do you think this space has been neglected?
That's a great question. I think a lot of the other apps on the market, I think they target big cities so you can pay through the parking app because there's there's no like campus parking department in the way. They haven't thought about partnering with them. So I think maybe that's an obstacle. And I think just the fact that big cities are really well populated and maybe they're not college students and they're not seeing the problem on college campuses.
And so a follow-up to that is, then given that, why do you think the college parking department hasn't already done this?
I don't think anyone's come to the parking department to bring this idea and to partner. Like I want to give 10% of profits to them. So I really want to make it, beneficial for both parties involved. I hope that answered your question.
Could you talk to them about potentially just a master contract with like Fort Lewis instead of individuals, and it's just part of like a student fee, everybody has access to the app?
Yeah, that option has been explored. That is something I'd like to think about, bringing student fees in to cut costs for students. But nothing's really been, we're at the point where nothing's really been officially discussed in that level.
And the sensors, sorry to jump in on your
go
questions. How many parking spots are here?
That I do not know. I know that we have roughly 3,000 students. So I would imagine there's around 2,000 parking spots, but I don't know.
And then the cost per spot for the sensor technology?
So some companies, so I've found as $897 if you buy in bulk for each parking sensor, but depending on the vendor, the prices can vary, but that's a good estimate.
So around $10.
Yeah,
a
around
spot.
$10 per spot. Mhm.
Do you have anybody that you would work with directly for developing the app and the app side of things?
App developers.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are some companies I've looked into. And I was actually hoping to get the Fort Lewis College recently created an app, and I was hoping to determine who created that app to maybe get them on board, kind of through the Fort Lewis app if possible.
And then you talk about student workers installing them.
Yeah.
Could you explain more about that? Like what makes them student workers? Are they just students who you're gonna pay, or would they be subsidized through the Fort?
Yeah, so I think there's two options for the Fort. Most of the student workers through the Fort, they're either subsidized directly. So if we can partner with the campus and we can get some student workers to install the sensors, that will help increase the profit. So they have more of that 10% threshold.
Gotcha.
I'm curious, have you thought through billing and collections? How are you going to bill for this? How are you going to collect the money? How are you going to process? How do you make sure that you get the money in your bank account?
Right. So I guess through the app is how we'll be having users pay the $30.99 per month. So I know there's some companies like there's some like credit card companies that you can implement right through the app with app developers so that they can put in their banking information and we can collect it that way and then remit the profit, the 10% of profits to the campus parking departments. I know I'm not exactly the names of the credit card company, but I think PayPal is an option. Be an option.
How'd you come up with the $30.99?
I was thinking that students, if they're gonna pay, if they're already paying a parking pass, I was figuring, they're probably gonna be okay with $1 more a day.
How much is a parking pass?
So for a full year, it's 120, and students can get it, half a year for 60.
Do you think that you would run into any like issues with like students specifically like blocking off spots so that they can hold their spot for them? Like what type of issues do you think that you would run into with maintaining these spots?
Well, that's a good question. I think right now the parking campus department, if they're going to be a key partner, they can help monitor because the police department is involved too. So do you mean like if someone, foul plays and put something over the sensor?
Yeah.
That's a good question. Hopefully we can install cameras to monitor that, but that's a great point you bring up.
I'd say there's opportunity from, you mentioned police,
Yeah,
knowing how, if there's cars and lots
Yeah.
as well. I mean, I would think that some technology that would flow to them to say there's, you know, a car left, or there's 2 cars, or a car just arrived, or whatever. I'm sure that, you know, they've got some monitoring, but that's a potential business part, being a
Right.
partner as well from a revenue standpoint, to give
Definitely.
visibility of, you know, where people are.
yeah.
And then like the Durango Airport is a place where I drive around a lot and try to find a parking spot. And I mean, clearly there's you know, I think that would be another
Another
customer. I know
underserved
it's,
area.
And even downtown parking, or, you know, knowing the visibility of, I think there's a lot of opportunity with it.
Right.
And then is there other technology from, like, you know, not having a sensor, more camera based?
Yeah, there are. Yes, there are some apps, they do geolocation, and I think that's a little complex for me. This seems like the parking sensors is the most feasible to get it started. And I've also explored, like, what are those things called? The LED, those sunlight things that can be implemented on, like, a parking light. Something like that.
Have you had any conversations with any of these other companies that already do this in the major cities?
I have not. I've definitely researched the other companies, but I've not had any, you know, phone calls with them yet.
In their model, does the parking deck pay the other companies, or does when you're parking there, do you pay?
For the other companies. So I think a lot of the other companies, they pay directly through the app to reserve the parking spot in a large city, and that's how they generate revenue. And that might be one of my long-term goals of Parking Saver through campus parking, but right now I want to just focus on having students be able to find a spot and see what's available for them.
So looking at your numbers, it looks like you have them increasing, and then you said year 5 is when you want to kind of start going to other campuses. Is that correct?
Or by year 5, I hope to be across other campuses.
Okay.
And then after year 5, I hope to, you know, expand the Parking Saver app and maybe get rid of the parking passes that students traditionally pay for.
Okay.
So what can go wrong?
That's a great question. Well, there might be, you know, there might be some faulty sensors, but the company I looked into, they have a 10-year warranty. You know, there might be some drivers fighting for a spot, but I think if we can make it where, you know, friendly as possible, where if they see 2 spots and, you know, first come, first serve, kind of how it is right now with students driving around the lot, I don't see it being a huge difference in that regard.
From a business perspective, what can go wrong?
Oh, well, we might not be as profitable as projected. We might lose some workers. We might need to get more workers. We might have an issue with funding, things like that. Does that answer your question?
I'm interested to figure out how you got the initial funding number. What were your inputs for that?
For
The 10,000, yeah.
Without looking at my spreadsheet, basically the app developers were a large expense, the parking sensors, some technology that we'll need, computers, small things, but that's kind of how I came up with that number. But the largest thing was the app development.
How much did you budget for that?
I think it was 15,000 if I can remember.
Okay, I think that was the part that confused me, because yeah, I think I read in your, it said 15,000, but you're saying that it only takes 10,000 to start up?
So that's including the revenue that we'll generate within the first 3 months. That's
Okay.
why it's 10,000.
Gotcha,
Yeah, that's
okay,
what
so it's like your startup costs, and then that's gonna be offset by the revenues that you start collecting.
Exactly.
Do you know what your initial time period would be to start the startup? Like, what's your estimated from, I'm gonna go reach out to developers to actually starting to get revenue? Do you know an estimate of how long you think that would take?
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking maybe like 3 months before we get to the part where we can start generating revenue. And I think even if we have a portion of the sensors installed, that can help generate revenue before we get them all installed by the following 3 months at Fort Lewis College.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are there any lots here that are like coveted more so, like closer to the business schools, or,
Definitely.
you know, where is there some lots that are always empty because they're so far away?
Yeah, definitely. So the EBH lot is the most coveted lot, and it's a small lot. It's a great location. And beyond the stadium lot, there's a small commuter campus overflow. And so I don't see a lot of cars over there. So, but that's where people end up parking if they can't find a spot close by.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I think those are all the questions I have. Bill, any more?
I think I got through mine. Thank you very much.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Yeah, I was
Scheduled time. So it'll be like 5 minutes. Thank you.
Yeah, yep, we're gonna look for. Okay. When you say comments, do you just mean like for other people or for ourselves? Okay. Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, I just asked the guy that should know, like, what cost development wise.
Yeah.
With that acceptable payments.
Yeah.
It's a premium service, so I like it. I got that for that.
Thank you so much.
I don't know.
No, you choose a number. Like, organized chaos is my life.
Because I am playing, you can see it.
It's not busy.
This one's the best. This next one.
That was
Yeah.
I'd say on some of them, but I think the only ones that like. Not sure if they're like, no.
I mean, I can barely spell.
Yeah.
I'm not that person. so.
Yeah, no, do score however. However your heart leads you.
Caitlin and Brandon. I think we do.
Like that business right now.
Yeah, I think so. No, yeah, their presentation, they don't get like a break until. Next week. We'll be in the middle of a presentation.
On. What do you mean like direct? We can.
Over
After the
there,
fact,
over
I think we
there.
can run up to
It's
Dr. Valley.
7:45, and then like a little break, and then
If
have
it's like
sound college.
structured stuff. Is what I was,
We'll be in the middle of a presentation. at 9:45.
because I definitely have some concerns
I would get like all of it.
for
Yeah.
everyone.
Right here, it's like all you can see is her head.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. I'm just glad my camera's on macro. Thing. Can zoom out.
Here's everything.
Oh, yeah.
On the collection side of stuff.
I'll just make them do it.
So, check the cost for the go through of the tech.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's.
I think that's what most credit card processing companies charge. From my perspective, I know when we're paying 2.9%. Is one that we get a lot.
We only have a full
That might even be beneficial to the part of it. You know, get someone to do it for you.
I think we'll be here until 4. No, she was. Schedules to go and stuff. So I'm thinking.
Yeah, right.
I didn't bring any snacks.
Especially if you do
That's
SAS.
wrong. I'm about to be late.
Always suggest, you know, these are.
Like 2 minutes, and then you can use the clicker too.
I'm like a family, like that's really can't hear you. Or in the morning. Like I can't be just. Yeah, if you get ready. It's 6 in the morning. Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Well, it's basically like that, it's the costume.
I never really got into it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, like usually like the smaller schools.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
That's part of that. At work.
Just one camera. at the
It's
restaurant.
like you're in the moment happening.
Yeah.
You're fine.
That's the stuff.
But like, it's much better.
So it's just sound, right? I'm sorry. It's like red. It tastes really good. It's really good. It's got multiple. I'm sorry. Like sheep. It's hard.
That's like you're not gonna be asking them 5 hours.
Yeah.
I didn't think this was very, people coming, they used to put.
Whenever you're ready, you can begin.
Anyway.
The words butylated hydroxyanazole, butylated hydroxytoluene, excuse me, this one's a little bit hard. Diethylnylamine. Those all kind of sound like words from, like, I don't know, a Harry Potter spell, much like Wingardium Leviosa. But unfortunately, these words won't make you levitate. You're probably more familiar with words like formaldehyde, parabens, phthalates, things of that nature. What all these words have in common is that they are carcinogens, they're hormone disruptors, endocrine disruptors, and so on. So you might be thinking, okay, we're not here for a chemistry lecture, what is this? These are all common ingredients that are found in your soaps and body washes. It's a little scary, right? My name is Brittany Poyer, and I am the owner of Lilith's Garden. We are a soap company that only uses organic ingredients. You're welcome. Bye. Okay. Those bars of soap that you're holding in your hand contain only 2 ingredients. That's right, 2. Organic olive oil and organic lavender essential oil. I started Lilith's Garden as a hobby, as a way to create something beautiful and meaningful, and as a way to just give a gift that was not only essential, but had a greater meaning behind it. Over time, the soaps became in demand and people started requesting them from me. It transferred by word of mouth, and shortly I developed, I developed a loyal customer base. It all under 1 year. I took this hobby into a business that revenued $675 in Q1. Lilith's Garden provides a high quality product that only uses organic and fair trade certified ingredients. Not only that, but our company completely embodies environmentalism by doing things like using only hemp and bamboo labels, getting shipping supplies that are made from 100% recycled materials, and also our commitment to zero waste. Bless you. Our customer base consists of 2 sectors. In retail, our ideal customer are young to middle-aged women who are looking for natural skincare products and who are also environmentally cautious whenever they're making purchases. Next, we plan to incur bulk sales by targeting local stores in Durango. These stores will already have an established natural products inventory, and they'll be looking to diversify and increase that inventory, and also taking advantage of wholesale discounts. These include stores like Animus Trading Company and Earthbound Trading Company that are both located in prime retail environment downtown Durango. As far as competition, we only have one local competitor, that is Heathen Soaps. They also have a retail front downtown. Their price range is pretty equivalent with ours, pretty competitive. They also offer these really bright, colorful soaps. However, with these bright, beautiful colors, that usually means that they're using synthetic dyes and other synthetic ingredients, which is a practice that Lillard's Garden does not partake in. They also don't list any of their ingredients that go into their soaps on their website, which it makes it hard to verify that they claim that they are a natural product, but it makes it hard to verify that they actually do contain organic ingredients. Commercially, we compete with large brands like Dove, Olay, and Suave. And of course, these are the companies that contain the ingredients that we went over in the beginning. And of course, Lillard's Garden does not sell any harmful products. As previously mentioned, we will be marketing to our ideal female client, local shops, and really anybody who wants a healthier product for themselves and for the environment. Our marketing efforts will focus on the fact that we have non-toxic products. They contain no harmful chemicals and have organic ingredients. We will do this by focusing on having a large social media presence with the aim of running about 10 ads per day on social media. On Facebook, our content will be thoroughly thought out and just very put together so that we can reach an older audience. On Instagram, we'll focus on our content, on our aesthetic, focusing on the beauty of our product and really bringing people in with just capturing the eye. Next, with our TikTok ads, we will feature videos that contain fun, viral sounds that will be less constructed as like our Facebook posts would be. And that way we'll be able to catch the appeal of our younger audience. The purpose of our social media marketing, of course, will be to increase traffic to our website. And so that our customers will know what trade shows we will be attending and to also reach other businesses. Retail pricing is set at $7.50 per unit of soap. That puts us currently at a 36% gross margin. Projections for our first year are going to be pretty consistent with what we are doing right now, at least for the first half. In Q3, we are looking at 120% increase in sales due to putting more efforts into business productivity. And that will put us at 580 units and over $4,000 in revenue in the first year. In our growth, we have extremely underestimated our growth, putting it at just about a 5% yearly increase in sales. So that by year 5, we will be doing about $5,700 in revenue with about 700 units. And let's see, by year 5, that'll put our gross revenue at 52%. So as I've outlined, you can see that Lillard's Garden is a company worth investing in. Not only do we have an established customer base, but they are loyal and they love our products and they love telling people about our products. right now we are in the perfect position to grow and expand our customer base. And not only that, but soap really is a commodity. Like everybody uses soap, at least I hope so. Our quality is unmatched. And also we are a company that values taking care of the earth and doing our part and taking responsibility in that. Okay, I will now open the floor to any questions.
Thank you very much. It's, oh, and thank you for the soap. It's lovely.
Yes, I
And
hope you
you're,
enjoy
and you're
it.
right. The presentation is wonderful. So my first question, which has nothing to do with your business plan, but well, maybe a little bit of marketing. Why the name Lillard?
A lot of people do ask that. Of course, my name isn't Lilith, so whose garden is this? To be completely honest, Lilith is a person in folklore that embodies women empowerment. She actually comes from like a Jewish history type. The reason I chose her is because we are a company that markets to women, and we're not only marketing to them, we want to completely embody that feminine energy, basically. And the garden, of course, because we use herbs and things from the garden. Does that answer your question?
It does.
Okay.
I actually knew that.
Oh, okay. That was so funny.
But I wanted to hear you say it.
Yeah.
Because I think it's important that when you brand something,
Mhm.
that you have a good foundation as to why you chose that name.
Yes, exactly. And it's something that I completely believe in. And so that's, like you said, it's what I wanted to build my foundation from. I want women to feel empowered. I want women to have that independence.
This is a beautiful product. It's awesome. And I also do use soap. And so.
Good. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, which is great. I mean, but I think I'm curious why you wouldn't also have a line that's, geared towards Lila's brother. And the men's side from, I think a lot of people do care, and it would appeal to me as well, but it would seem like you could also just co-brand a whole separate approach that way.
Yeah,
And
that's a
just,
great point.
just maybe missing on an easy target segment, because I think I feel that, your points resonate with me about, the environmental impact and the natural product and things like that too. But, so I don't know, it's curious if you focus mostly on what clearly is your target market on it, but I think you could also, have some appeal to the other side, maybe.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. Thank you for bringing that up. What I brought my business plan up and what I presented on was what I'm doing right now in this moment. Of course, I do have future ideas and things to branch off of, but I just wanted to present something that was solid. I could have put in there, yes, I do plan to explore this avenue or that avenue, but yeah, like
Are you taking web orders now, or do you have anything like that to, do fulfillment? Because there's a couple Durango companies that are shipping and use Amazon, for instance, or
okay, yeah.
just would seem like when you're ready for that level of production, demand would probably be there through, things outside of Durango, but
Yeah.
is that, once again, you're tying in with what's working for you now?
Yes, exactly. And I do have plans around Q3, I believe is what I marked, to launch that website. I currently don't have a website. Like I mentioned, right now, Lilith's Garden is just kind of word of mouth, kind of my personal Facebook and things of that nature. People who I've gifted soap to and people who friends told them about the product, they contact me, and a lot of the times it's a personal order. But if I do have inventory, I'll just let them know what I have, and they'll say, cool, I'll grab that and I'll get it to them. This is my first year in Durango, so right now most of my customers are back home in South Dakota, so I am shipping a lot back home to South Dakota.
Okay, all right. Well, that explains a couple things, because I wanted to ask you, in your competitive analysis, who your competitors are.
Mhm.
I wouldn't say you're competing with Suave or Dove. I would say you're more competing with Dr. Bronner's
Oh, okay.
nationally. And they've been around for 60 years.
Mhm.
Or this is a local product, which I
Okay.
just happen to have with
Yeah.
me. And they sell it at the farmer's market.
Oh, okay.
And it is Bear Balm is what they call it. And they sell it at, local stores here and at the farmer's market. But the ingredients of this are olive oil, organic comfrey, candaluca, lavender, and beeswax.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
It
Love
is amazing. And so to me, these are going to be your competitors or these local people like yourself
Yes.
that are now, in our local stores and selling it locally at the farmer's market and having a one-on-one conversation as you are, which is a really high cost business model.
Yeah.
And, but it is a good product. So when I think of that, I would say that your competitors are more already in the space of
Gotcha.
organic
Yeah.
and not the Swabs and the Doves.
Right. And the reason that I mentioned those commercial products is because they do contain those chemicals that I talked about previously.
Have you sold at the farmer's market?
I have not sold at the farmer's market here in Durango. I did attend a few events up in South Dakota. South Dakota is a little different environment than here in Durango, where, like you said, there is a lot of the natural products and people love organics and things of that nature. South Dakota really doesn't have that market, to say the least. But you're right, that is an avenue I do need to explore and becoming more familiar with my local environment.
So I think it said that currently you're working like 10 hours a week to make your batches.
Mhm.
If you were to up it to 40 hours a week, what would that increase? Like, would you be able to make more batches, or could you still even do 10 hours a week but bigger batches?
All of the above, yeah. When I went to that Q3, that 120% increase in sales, was estimating that I went from working the 10 hours a week to working the 40 hours a week and just having more production and more marketing and things of that nature. Of course, whenever you're doing these larger ones, you're able to make larger batches at a time, cutting down some of the labor a little bit. So yes, all of the above.
Okay.
Do you have regulation?
There's a yes and no. There's regulations when it comes to labeling the products. So you have to like define whether you're a cosmetic or whether you're a soap. So I went to the soap sector, not the cosmetic sector. So I just have to be able to abide by those laws, making sure that what is in the soap is what is labeled. I haven't got the answer yet, but I know that my suppliers, they are certified organic, but whether I'm ever able to put certified organic on my label, is kind of an answer I haven't really found yet.
Got it.
I'm
How's the
not sure if
product?
that's a gray area or.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like something you'll have to explore, especially as you ship more product.
Yes.
And opportunities with all the probably fair trade and, environmentally focused things that I think appeal to when people are looking at a product, right? You want all those little.
Yes, you want to have those stamps, those fair trade stamps. People want to know that the production and that was, people were properly paid, excuse me.
Yeah.
It looks like you have a mold of sorts on here. What, like a design mold? Is that specific, is that the only mold you use, or can it be customizable? Is there a way to maybe branch out for, I'm just thinking like baby showers and mass produce for, an organic product like this would be awesome as like you go to a baby shower, wedding shower, and they hand out like little token gifts you can take home.
Yeah.
Is it something that you've thought about, or like, can you expand in other areas like that?
Yeah, that's a great question. So the ones that you're holding right now were poured into, a specific mold that was set up. For that, it's just a little beautiful presentation, just looks better appealing. So I wanted you guys to have that. whenever I mass produce, I do have these big giant molds that I just pour the whole entire batch into, and then you kind of cut that up into little squares. Otherwise, I do have various other molds. I have like rose molds, different flower molds. Yeah, molds are something that are completely able to be customizable.
And can you also change up the scent as well? I know you say lavender, but you just mentioned rose.
I am able to change up the scent, yes. Like I mentioned, I just wanted to present what I know and what I am doing in this current moment. Of course, there are avenues for different scents, maybe even different oils. I just haven't gone down that avenue yet, so I didn't want to stand up here and say something that I don't know isn't a fact or that I haven't tried myself. Okay.
Are you thinking corporate molds?
Yes,
Logos,
swan
logos.
logo.
Oh, yeah. I could do a swan. Do you want a swan?
I mean, we send gift baskets and Anna's chocolate has our logo, they print on the chocolate. You know, so
awesome.
it's like, if we're sending things out, then we could have our logo. I'm guessing that's a mold you could have made or. does that,
Yes,
know,
definitely. It's definitely customizable.
Would be kind of interesting.
I
Yeah.
think it's great that you are presenting us with a product that you've already tried out and you have some experience in what it costs. It seems to me that $750 a bar is exorbitant.
I think that's cheap. It's a premium product, right?
Yeah, but you've got a lot of competition.
Not for premium products. I mean, it's not a, I don't know. I mean, that to me seems like a fair price point.
Okay,
I mean, bronze is that much.
last me for years.
Well, maybe.
Okay, we're getting off. a
So
tangent. Okay,
on that, I wanted to
all
address
right, I
that
want to go
actually.
back to, it's great that you've got experience. I'm so glad. So the financial projections look good. I guess my question then is, and I think that you're getting this from these questions of think bigger,
Yes,
think bigger.
exactly. Yes.
So what, kind of what's the vision and, where can you go as opposed to, I look at your financial projections and, what else can you do? And so that gets to who else you're going to bring on your team to help you do this.
Yes, those are all great questions. Thank you for bringing that up. That is something that I have thought about, but then again, like I don't have the solid knowledge or the facts on that, but that is something that I am willing to explore. And what I was thinking is like, I didn't put it in my presentation, but like coming back and reviewing the business, maybe not quarterly at this point, but every 6 months and yearly to see where we're at, where there's potential for growth, where we can expand at. Of course, that includes expanding the product lines to just not having just this one olive oil, lavender soap, moving on to like avocado oils, peppermint soap, things of that nature. And also even just expanding beyond soap. Like I know a lot of the companies in my industry do like body butters, chapsticks, just that whole natural skincare line. And so that is something I am willing to explore, maybe starting Q3, Q4, maybe even after the end of year 1. And of course, with expansion, we'll have to bring on more team members. What I would be thinking is that starting out, the people I would bring on my team would be somebody for production and somebody to focus on marketing and customer service. And then I can kind of step back from just those like day-to-day things that involve running the company. So I can focus more on that expanding and that researching and getting all those facts together so I can grow my company.
Have you done any market research in North Dakota? I know that the market research that you've done is mostly Durango.
Yeah.
But have you actually looked at North Dakota? Because, Durango is kind of saturated with, there's the clients, but there's also like a lot of product already.
Yeah.
But like you were saying, North Dakota doesn't have that. North Dakota, South Dakota?
South Dakota.
South Dakota. Have you done the research on what that could potentially look like? Is it a new market that you could just like pierce,
Yeah, so there is a market. I don't have the numbers with me right now, but like I said, there really isn't, in South Dakota, we really don't have a lot of these natural skincare companies, which makes me basically the only game in town. And there are people who are looking for these, even though South Dakota probably has this reputation of like a red state, that doesn't mean everybody they're associated with that. And so being in a place where where you're looking for a natural product, but there isn't much locally, that does make a big market for me.
Those are all my questions.
Great job.
Yeah, great
Yeah,
job.
great job. Thank you.
Yeah,
you're
thank you so
welcome.
much. I'm
Enjoy.
so excited.
Yeah, thank you.
Honestly.
I know, like.
Hey, you know what?
I was gonna do. Like, that's what-
I just remember that.
I think just the best of it. So I've been taking.
Thank you so much.
She's been taking pictures. I've been doing time lapse videos. And he's been recording videos.
And there's so much opportunity. Whether it's like a different scent, and also like friends that also do this, do live it's an easy switch to, if you already have a good product, just change it up, but also then you
It was fun, but it was a lot. I got my experience. Yeah. Yeah. What is the only?
Yes.
Yeah. Or McDonald's to like water buckets for me.
It was just in the, and then like halfway through.
Yeah. That was good.
And then, you know, once students after.
Yeah, because
There's nobody here on her.
no, it's open that everyone went there.
They have just like massive.
Yeah, go for it.
Go for it. You want to do all
Yeah.
three?
No.
Yeah, I'm just keeping on the
No, like the guy just had to stop.
But it's closer to a fish.
He was like, okay, like, and then like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have
aren't
the
you-
negative lens?
Yeah.
I just got a nice one.
Yeah,
So you can
like
do
almost the whole bottle.
Really?
Like, I mean, decently, like it never felt like too much, but it also was really.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
As long as they don't know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So, and so.
Did you smell it?
Yeah, I can. Smell it.
It smells really good. What was that?
I kind of feel. Wow, it's really cute. I know. Just like watching
Just making sure it's up and running. I have been. Yeah. Yeah. I have. Like got 14 pages done.
Where I'm into.
So that should.
So. helping her try to
She's like, you just need to like
Yeah,
have
look at
this.
that before you go home.
Yeah.
This is
Basically just told us to fluff.
It's the Center for
That's
Innovation.
where we are.
It's owned by the board,
I mean,
it's just, they're trying to get out.
Just working
So it's
hard.
like
They
they
kind
kind
of
of
just
just
have
have
like
like
a
a
small business development center and stuff like that, and have them there. Like, hey, I'm gonna do an account, you know, right.
It takes 8 months for them.
And then they also have like a co-working
Other than
space for
what's in
people
there.
that, you know, work
And a
from
matcha.
home, so they can do desk work and stuff. But I just worked with her, but she's.
There's a gas station close.
Yeah.
Is there a vending machine?
I'm afraid I know you.
There's like a,
I gotta.
at 10 o'clock, I believe,
Tech
the
issues.
Animus, the Animus Fest
I already had a good
in
turnout.
the student union, it opened.
They have like a big central.
Yeah.
About 10 o'clock, so.
Actually, yeah, I drove running.
Yeah, it was just too
We started.
This guy did shit.
Excited.
Thank you.
No, me too.
So how's the water business?
You want anything?
Good, it's a little slow.
$1 million.
You just can't.
From the coffee store?
No,
Don't
I'm
think you're gonna
good.
get, I'm not
I
fine.
feel like I should. There's like a
Is
crazy
that just trying to trust?
circulation. It's like
Yeah, I'll
pretty
buy
much you can learn how to run like a city septic system. So my brother already took it and did all the certifications in the past, and he's staying certified. And so like on the back of the truck, like I can print vinyl stickers, so on the back of the truck, we said, is your hauler state certified? Like that all was like we are,
That's
because
great.
a lot of other ones are.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they have to like put certain stuff in their tank. Because the water coming out is. Yeah, and that's just everyone has, you know, their.
Oh, I bought a hoodie.
Thank you so much.
Wait, I'm not sure.
It's a hack. It's a hack.
I did, I was.
You're
Yeah. And I think they had some.
You got your own desk.
Yeah, this is kind of my space.
This morning, about how next year is gonna be different. He said with more judges,
Like, yeah, you're for it.
separate. And this is probably gonna be, I guess it just depends on how
Big,
many are submitted.
But he also decided to start hauling dumpsters. And that is. I mean, we only have 3 right now. We've ordered 4. I think it's. Any of them. Just like those big long ones. Yeah, he has 2 sizes. He has one, like, I want to say like, not even 20 feet, like little tight, like smaller ones, more for residential, and then he has one like really long one. They ordered like. He has all of them written out right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I had to switch it a little bit, but right now he has 2.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
Well,
but
you drop it off and
Yeah.
have it for,
Yeah.
it's like the dumpster.
Yeah.
So Grant, when does
the truck
production
with that
start?
one, it has like the hook that.
When?
pulls stuff on
Yeah.
And everything.
the summer.
It's really pretty.
Yeah.
Put me on the list.
My dad decided to do
Sweet.
that, but yeah, the dumpster, we didn't. think
Buy it
was
off
gonna be
here
that
now.
much, you know,
Yeah.
like,
Just kidding,
it's
I
not
want
that
that one.
popular, but so far he's
Yeah.
having it out. and so recently
I'm excited to see it, dude. This is sweet.
Yeah,
Do you know?
I'm excited.
I
I know.
I could ask him.
I'm
Or
curious.
is it just you, or do you have a group?
It's just me.
But, yeah, no,
Yeah.
I-
County.
Just them too?
What was that?
How's your accounting?
Pretty good.
they're pretty good, so
Yeah.
start to
Thought
pick that
through it
one
in
up.
every direction I could possibly think
But
through
yeah,
it.
the water,
Yeah.
A lot less regulation there.
yeah,
Oh.
well, and it's
You
no.
know, there's
late
always
people, you
surprise
Go off and drop,
expenses and stuff.
you
Yeah.
drop it off and you pick it up.
You
and
account
that's
for
it.
this.
So,
Like,
the only
looks
bad
like
thing
you
is
already
the
thought
dumpster
about it, so
goes
therefore.
out, I think it's 30 minutes out.
Yeah.
So that's really, it's like you gotta, have the gas to get there and everything, but apparently there's like a system that you can buy and it is already pre-made
There's
for
like this,
dumpster
like,
hauling,
machine
so it calculates
filtration water.
like all the different locations and it has all that stuff for it. So that's pretty nice.
instead of having to like clean it out, it doesn't mold.
I don't know what that means. Yep.
It's like screw Camelback.
Oh, it's like a cow blood.
Do I just?
Oh,
No, what did you just say?
Like with the
Yeah, wasn't it up there for you, just so nobody has to sign it.
That's what I was thinking.
A lot better after my voice. They're just like relaxing, last week. Yeah. Last week. Yeah. We all went back. I think it's been great. And then my mom stayed. We all like it.
First time like I've actually
They
formally
went to
presented.
Belize for 2 days with my aunt.
That's
So yeah,
nerve-wracking. That sounds
they're,
fun.
it's a lot more enjoyable now. Dad's still, trying to help, he's trying to let Trey run it, but he's like, still kind of like, oh, you should do this, and everything.
So
So
they are still.
he's
Oh, you
still a
mean
little,
the
the water
trash.
track,
Oh,
yeah, the water track and the trash, but mom's.
It's funny how things have been evolving. Holy cow. Yeah, it's just really cool. Just
Yeah.
Hey, you were watching, you're slacking.
Sorry, you're talking to me?
Wow. Disrespectful. I'm the security guard for the doors. Just
But aren't
walking
the
in.
doors up there?
You know,
Yeah.
They were able
To do my job.
It's great. Oh, that's the other
That's
grant.
big.
This is the other grant.
This is my dad.
Nice to meet you.
How you doing?
I'm good, how are you?
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, I'm excited to see.
Wait, you just stand by the other grant. Find out who's really the biggest grant.
I think you might actually have an inch on.
Does he?
Oh,
I don't know.
Okay.
I have strong, so there's, yeah,
That's weird.
I used to be the tallest, but maybe not so much.
Where are you from?
Just the front range.
Oh, are you?
He's from the Frank.
Yeah.
He's like
Oh, you're the
Joe
Franktown.
Sloan.
I'm the Franktown.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you know probably where we live,
Where do you guys live?
off of Bayou Gulch.
In Bayou Hills.
Oh, totally, yeah.
Yeah, Bayou Hills.
Oh, that's
right.
super awesome.
Yeah.
Super cool. Yeah.
Where in Franktown?
Burning Tree Ranch. So you go towards Kiowa, see the Franktown liquor store on the left, you take that next. Or on the right, you take the next one.
Yeah.
Right by the.
Okay,
that-
but you're right next to Bannockburn.
Great.
Bannockburn is where Joe lives.
How's everything going?
I think, is it all dirt?
It's all paved. So
Okay.
you know where the Franktown veterinarian clinic is?
Yeah.
Right there on the left. You
Yeah.
take that. road.
As you're going east.
As you're going east, correct. So
And then, okay, so you're,
it's up the road.
gotcha.
On the left side of the road.
Who's taller?
I don't know,
It's like super.
I gotta
close.
stand up here to even see.
I so.
You were like significant.
I know.
It's pretty close.
Yeah, then, just stand up.
I don't know. He also has like.
I am.
So.
That's awesome. Thanks for joining us today.
We,
That's great.
his older brother,
Yeah.
I bikes quite a bit.
Oh,
I've ridden
it is.
through,
Totally. On bike, road bike.
usually road.
Totally.
Yeah, I don't know if I wanna get my
Yes,
dad
we're
around
thrilled.
bike.
Last
Really?
year,
Is that what
Still think he's in college.
It's all
Which is,
about-
which is great,
I knew
yeah,
that
but
was
he doesn't know.
We pretty much told him to figure it
The
out.
life, but which means
You're gonna let him say this?
Yeah,
well,
well,
he shows me up quite a bit, not gonna lie, but,
Yeah, totally, yeah.
but still, I'm a dad one piece.
So I figured we smile first.
Are you on the team?
Right?
Yeah.
No, I do, my kids are asking all the time too. No. So there's that, if you look at the street, there's a street that goes down Highway 3, so it's called Larry Gomez. I mean, who knows?
Yeah.
So, but I do not know.
You know,
Yeah. Yeah, no, my kids always get that too,
Yeah.
but it's great, you know,
That'd be fun.
yeah.
So, are you familiar with what they do too? Where,
Yes.
on Tuesdays, I think is what it is, where there's a road bike, pretty much a race.
Oh,
I think it has been, they've been doing it.
Yeah, and it's like,
Yeah, and I mean, these are tough guys that get out there, you know, I know there's been a number of. This whole Peloton show. It's just we're not a resident. Do you know what?
I know which one, yeah, I didn't realize. It was a race.
Well, it's not an official race, it's just a bunch of,
Guys getting out.
yeah, a bunch of cyclists that show up.
Yes, probably like. So her son, guys that are just going out for a ride, but they.
Well, and this was years ago, I was training for triathlon, and I went out there, and I just heard about this. Oh, I'll just join in. And my hero bars on, and they didn't like that at all. I was too dumb to know the difference. And they're like, no, you need to get out of here. But I can tell you this, I couldn't hang it. I think they still do it. I think it's now a little bit more official. It used to be 30 people to show up.
Well, I think there's one in California, the Aliso, and it's, I think the same thing. It seems like right around like us tired business area. And because there's still some cars that drive around, but it's just 40 guys, like pros, just
it's just
full on like Tuesday night crit. So it's cool. It's crazy. It's a lot better now.
All I want to know is how's the bike?
Pretty good. Shifters, I mean, really tilted in right now and scratched up, and then but most of the weight went onto the rear axle on the handle. Oh, so that's really ground away, but everything is perfectly fine. So no pain.
Straight and another one.
Yeah, it was just the hoods.
Are you able to fix that?
I should just be able to pull them back. If not, then I can just unwrap the tape and then actually move it.
It is.
Until then, we're just gonna leave it.
There you go. We'll be writing
Yep.
this.
Y'all ready for the presentation on Tuesday?
I said we'll go in the back row.
Exactly. That's the problem.
Yeah, best of luck. See you guys. No, I love it. That's awesome.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
Just put a piece of gum inside to see what the hell it is. Just revise some of the comments. Yeah. Yeah, I'm using 4 to 6.
Oh, okay.
And then,
So.
Wait, what do you?
You do stop.
yeah, so you are correct. Pertains to the events that are happening.
Do you need this to
Because
manage?
I'm not hydrated.
You should manage that.
I've only heard one.
We don't. They're all over here.
Yes.
Very different.
That would be intense. I would honestly be okay.
But there was a gram up the street and I was like.
So, I mean, that's what
I'm like,
so.
Yes.
5 seats.
Yeah,
No.
and I didn't even see my head at all, but because I was just perfectly asleep, but also it would have been nice if I rolled, because then it would have moved places.
Yeah, you would have.
But
Honest to God.
It's not like it's super.
It's almost like
That's the hard.
yeah, everything's perfectly fine inside, so it's super hard.
Oh, Grant just take his water bottles like
You guys don't use silly.
like safe there.
How about this thing? I don't even know what it is.
I should have some in that.
Interesting.
I also.
Thank you to tech guy. A lot of questions.
Which one is this? Which one's up? Who's up?
Headwater hydration.
Which one's yours?
That works.
That's the last thing I'll bring on. Change slides right here. Look, thank you so much. It was just a stock photo that I took.
Oh,
Yeah.
it is beautiful.
I would love to.
Just lie to us. Tell us where you think it could be. It's Oregon. It's this road called to nowhere. To last.
Yeah,
You can begin whenever you're ready.
awesome. Good morning. My name is Grant Podasky, and I'm the founder of Headwater Hydration. Could I start by asking everybody, do you enjoy like hiking or backpacking during the summertime or even wintertime? Awesome, because I'm getting so excited about that. And through doing all that, I've discovered some pretty big issues, honestly. These issues come with staying hydrated well in the backcountry. First off, if you're a water bottle user like me, you always have your water bottle either in your backpack or in the side pockets behind you. It's just so hard to access your water. I'm not flexible enough to reach around and grab my water bottle, let alone put it back. So you have to stop, you have to keep grabbing all your, empty out your backpack to grab your water bottle or whatnot. Reservoir hydration systems, very similar to Camelbacks. Those are great because you've got the mouthpiece to always just have water on hand and you can stay ahead on your hydration. But the problem with them is when I get back, I hate cleaning them. Oftentimes they'll sit there for a couple of days before I get the motivation to clean them. Along with that is they're not conducive to put any hydrating sports drinks in there like Gatorade or whatnot, just because that leads to an area of bacteria to grow. They're also difficult to refill. Whenever I'm backpacking, I do water bottles and a bladder hydration system. I do both, but whenever I have to refill it, I have to pull it out of my backpack, refill it, treat the water, and then empty my backpack before I can slide it back into the sleeve inside of my backpack. So thankfully, we have a solution. The solution is the Colorado Canteen. I'll let you pass this around to mess with it. The Colorado Canteen is, first off, really easy to refill because you can just take it out of your backpack or have it on the side pocket, refill it, and if it's going back in your backpack, you can just jam it back in because it's hard-sided. Secondly, is hands-free access to water. As you're hiking, you always have water on hand to constantly be drinking water and stay on top of your hydration. And what I love most about it is you can throw hydrating sports drinks in there as well. This is because it is so incredibly easy to clean. When I get back, you can just, not in the dorms, but you can just disassemble it, throw it in the dishwasher, and you're all done. And it's also completely cleaned out throughout the whole, there's no question about it. There is a lot of competition, I must say. First off is Modal Outdoors. Modal Outdoors sells a very similar product. This product is similar, but there are definitely drawbacks with their product. They have it to where you clip it on the outside of your backpack and it's laying sideways, which if you've got a heavy backpack, you don't want that extra weight. If it's a liter of water, you don't need that extra weight throwing off your balance. And there's also a lack of pressure valve. So you're fighting the suction that you're generating as you're drinking the water. Camelback, like I talked earlier, it's incredibly difficult to clean, and you can't use hydrating sports drinks to further your hydration in there. Nalgene, while we do use Nalgene's bottles for production, specifically their bottles and other just general water bottle companies, like I said earlier, it's very, very difficult to access the water in your backpack. And honestly, it leads to me being more dehydrated than I would like to be. I would like to be on top of my hydration in the backcountry. This is a big project. I'm very aware this is a big project and I can't do this myself, which is why we have an incredible group of business mentors. These business mentors, whether they're in my family or through individuals I have met attending Fort Lewis or doing this hot take competition. That also includes a few angel investors who are interested. Secondly, the Patent Resource Center down on Main Street in Durango. This will be a great resource for us because through all of my research, I have not found a hard-sided hydration system with a valve on top. And I believe that we will be able to secure a patent. Along with that, that's going to require a patent attorney, a private patent attorney in order to secure that intellectual property. Thirdly is we've got some great business and office space opportunities. We have some family friends here in Durango who are willing to offer up their space for a lower price in order to kickstart this business. Along with that, similar lines is with sales and marketing. We have some resources in order to build our website, start our social media platforms, and get our business up and running and get our product out there. Most importantly, there is no business without a product. Partnering with these suppliers in order to get all the ingredients in order to make the Colorado Canteen is incredibly important. Along with that is we'll be partnering with outdoor specialty stores. These stores like Garden Schwartz down on Main Street. These are stores where we'll give them exclusive rights to our product, and in turn, they will help build our market share. As far as our team goes, I will be the team leader. And our first employee or team member, I should say, will be there to help assist assembling the Colorado Canteen during the first year. And as we grow and as we change, we will address where we need more team members and where we need more help moving forwards. For our marketing plan, it is broken into 4 main sections. First section is the young and eager. These are individuals very similar to me, individuals who can't get enough of the outdoors, 18 to 30 years old, and they're already looking for a product and looking to maybe even make their own product in order to solve these issues. Parents of kids, these are parents who, like my parents growing up, they desired to get their children out in the outdoors. They desired to share the love of nature and all that with their children. And this product is specifically designed for them as well in order to make it easier just taking those family trips out, because we know it is so difficult. Thirdly, lifelong adventurers. These are individuals 30 and up who just can't get enough of the outdoors. They love it. They have a little bit more money to spend to travel to more destination areas and travel more to, they have more options with what they have. Fourthly is wholesale. Like I talked earlier, this is to outdoor specialty stores and across Colorado. Our marketing plan will include building an incredible website in order to house our marketplace, developing a engaging social media, and as we move forwards, having an email marketing to show new products as we grow. Our progress milestones. Today, my goal is to win Hog Tank. And by the end of May, we'll receive the rest of our financing. We'll hire our first employee or team member during this summer. By the end of 2022, we'll have sold our first 100 units, and we'll have paid off our seed capital by the end of year 3. And in year 5, we'll achieve a $100,000 EBITDA. In summary, there's a significant problem to be solved. We have incredible resources and partners and an energized and driven leader to solve this problem. Judges, this $10,000 will allow me to bring the outdoor, we'll be able to build a brand and bring outdoor enthusiasts closer to nature. Thank you so much for your time and consideration. Do you have any questions?
What's it cost?
$37.99 is what we will initially be selling it for. And as we move forwards, thank you so much. As we move forwards and find a outside manufacturer in year 2, we will be able to increase that price and drop our cost of goods sold.
Why go outside?
What was that?
Why go outside for manufacturing?
Because they will be much more efficient in order to producing these bottles, and it'll also drop the cost by like half in order to produce a much higher quantity.
So I'm curious, I agree. It's like, okay, so this is what I do when I go hiking.
Mhm.
I'm holding this in my hand.
Yeah.
And because no, I don't want to use the Camelback because of everything you just said. And so that is does solve a problem for me. Why Nagel, the Nalgene bottles, why haven't they done what you just did?
That is what I've been asking myself, whether it's Nalgene, Camelback. I think what the problem is that valve. Usually there are other companies that have an adapter specifically for Nalgene bottles, but they don't have the valve. So when you drink from it, you're fighting the suction and you have to let air in, and it's just a big mess of being able to smoothly drink from it. Because with the reservoir hydration systems, those collapse as you drink. So you're not fighting any sort of suction.
So how did you come up with this valve?
So there was a Christmas party and someone had gifted little sippy cups, and we were drinking out of the sippy cups just for fun because of the Christmas party. And I realized there's a valve in there that lets air in, but not water out. And I took apart the sippy cup and I was like, this is the magic key. This little valve is the magic key that I need, that I've been looking for probably 6 months in order to solve this problem.
Is that already patented, or do you know that you can already use it?
The valve itself is patented, but it's the use in the lid with like the setup of the lid is what I believe we will be able to get patented.
Would you be able to actually use that? Do you have to pay something to use that, the pressure equalization valve?
You can buy them wholesale. They're like Think on my financial projections, there are about like 1 or 2 pennies per valve, if you buy them in large quantities. And yeah,
How long does it currently take you to produce that, like manually that you're doing right now? How long does it take to produce one of those?
yeah, it'll take anywhere from like 15 to 30 minutes.
Okay.
When I first made it, I had to modify the lid, but the bottles that we'll be getting from Nalgene, they don't have the typical, like on your water bottle, they don't have that leash. Whereas when I made that one, I had to cut that off and smooth it out, which took a lot of time, but it'll be anywhere from 15 to 30 minutes in order to make one of those.
I'd say you have a competitive advantage by having a made in Colorado product. Whether you're contract manufacturing it or not, but I think a lot of, especially local manufacturers try hard to stay here.
Yeah.
Even though there's a lot of cost savings by, outsourcing, so. This seems like a great fit from a shipping standpoint, like it's nothing big in bulk, it's all products that you can have, a lot of, make it easy. And then once you're at scale, your cost for that $38 product all in is $20.
Yes, I'm not totally sure what it was on my financial projections, but initially the costs are going to be pretty high because we'll be making it in-house and buying smaller quantities. But as we grow and as we move to an outside manufacturer to where they're able to make an entire one of those for, $10, we'll be able to reduce those costs of goods sold dramatically. But we have planned for higher costs starting out, higher costs and lower sales to give us more of a buffer for anything that might happen that might be unexpected.
I want to just say, your table, I'm very good in understanding who your competitors are, what their price points are. Very good table. So let me ask you this question with respect to these competitors. If you were a product manager working for one of these companies, and now you come along as a product manager for Camelback, what are they going to do to crush you?
I would, yeah, no, I totally understand that. If I were working for one of those companies, I would probably try and come up with a similar solution. Because, if you look for reservoir hydration systems, like I showed earlier, there's so many different companies and they're all slightly different. And I can imagine they would come up with something very similar. But obviously not the exact same, because they'll try and include their own twist to their product in order to make it better. That's how I would imagine.
In your business plan, you talk a lot about the cleaning kit. I don't think you mentioned it in your presentation. Is that still something that you're thinking about doing, or how involved is it in your initial startup?
Yes, essentially, the cleaning kit, that'll have to be that I just wanted to focus on the Colorado Canteen at the moment. But yes, the cleaning kit, it is essentially it comes with soap and it'll be a long pipe cleaner type thing, mainly just to clean the tubes. Something where you can run it through the tube, back, rinse it out, and you're done. Something super simple, something that'll just make if you're hand washing, make that process so much easier.
Would you ever consider selling your lids just as they are, since they are interchangeable with Nalgene bottles?
Yes, I definitely would. But that would be designed so that it would fit as like spare parts, essentially. That would be spare parts in case somebody breaks a hose, breaks the lid somehow, you name it.
So are you thinking about having a contract, wholesale contract with like Nalgene to get the bottles and then you modify the lids?
Yes. Yes, that's the intention.
You talk in your presentation or in the business plan about getting 50% recycled plastics.
Yep.
What research or where are you gonna get that from? Where's that coming from?
Yeah, so the bottles that Nalgene sells, those bottles are 50% recycled, which translates over to us.
Provisional patents are like $100. You can do it in an hour.
Mhm.
It just basically gets you a spot in line with a description of your product.
Okay.
I would, it's easy to do that,
Awesome.
especially as you pitch more. People ask about protecting your IP.
Mhm. Yeah.
And you can do that right on the patent website.
Oh, yeah, that's awesome.
The other thing about, getting patents is there's a cost to defending. And so, a lot of times if it's close to a commodity-ish type of product, there's a decision not to patent. You might, have more of an opportunity because the space is smaller and you see if somebody had that relief valve in the Nalgene product. But anyway, it's a easy process to start that provisional piece.
Yeah, I would love to look into that.
Yeah, you could do it in an hour. I mean, you'd be done in an hour. It's
That might
really
be-
easy.
That might be something I do this
It's a
afternoon. I
highlight.
didn't know that that was an option.
Are you working on like branding and stuff? Cause it looks like that bottle has a lot of like Nalgene on it and it looks, I know it's a patent or it's like the initial product. And so it's just about functionality, but
Yes.
like, are you gonna design it so maybe the metal parts are covered or less hidden and less obvious, something that I would look at and be like, I could do that on my own.
Yeah, that's something that we'll be moving forward with, like, especially in the first year, doing a lot of tweaking with new parts, something that might be a lot more conducive to just blending in. I don't really like the brass right now, just because it stands out and it's not, it doesn't blend in. But yes, that is something that we'll be doing in the future.
What would you say your strengths are that you bring to running a business?
Yeah, well, I'd say, first off, as far as this business specific is, I've done a lot with the outdoor industry and been a consumer for a decent part of my life. So I'm really familiar with that. As far as running the business goes, I've had a decent amount of experience from owning a landscaping company, a small landscaping company back home. And my absolute love for entrepreneurship and just business in general.
So tell me more. Give us a little bit more detail. What makes you a really good entrepreneur?
Yeah, well, first off, I've been able to develop a really good sense for like the financial side of businesses. Just being able to understand like how your costs have to be lower than your revenues and just kind of more of the I guess knowledge part of that. I have been developing real good connections with people and just working on practicing those skills and intertwining with people in order to make something like the Colorado Canteen and Headwater Hydration come to life. This has been almost a year project now. But
Have you gone to any trade shows? Like
I have,
outdoor trade shows, I know there are a ton of them in Denver.
yeah, I have been to, I haven't personally been selling anything there. My favorite one to go to is the Sportsman's Expo in Denver. But yeah, just seeing that, and I've got that on my financial plans of planning for travel to those trade shows in order to get product awareness and get the product out there and have people interacting with the product.
Have you been, since you've had this idea and prototype, have you gone and kind of, I don't want to say given your idea away, but like put out feelers at these trade shows to see if there's anything else on the market that you just may not know about yet?
Not specifically, not specifically with trade shows or anything like that. Partially is because with COVID and all that, there's been very few to happen, but everyone that I have talked to, I've been talking about my product just to kind of get a feeling of what people are needing, similar problems, and everything that I've come up with has been, it's been the cleaning, it's been the difficulty to reach your water bottle and having to stop, the same problems that I have come across that I addressed earlier.
Are you familiar with Tailwind?
I don't believe so.
Local company that has came up with a product, not this kind of product, but what they do is they make a powder that you can put in your product. But they're a local company, local business owner, and they've gone international in a very short period of time. And that would be a good company to check out as to, you know, business planning, entrepreneurship. How did they manage to take a product that is for the same target market you're targeting? Exact same target market. How did they do it?
Like, we could introduce you to Jeff and Jenny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be a great resource.
I think we'd be interested.
That'd be fun. Yeah, I would love that. That's been my question, is how do you take something that essentially I made in my garage, the first model I made in my garage, how do I take that, make it professional and get it to the individuals that just like me who have run into these problems? That's been my big question I've thought through this entire process.
Have you talked to any production places that could mass produce these?
I have
this
reached
be the
out.
last question, sorry. And then we're gonna go ahead and move on to y'all writing down your scores and everything like that and get transitioned.
Yep.
I have reached out, but I haven't heard back from any of them yet.
Cool, thank
Good job.
you.
Yeah, thank you.
Just the bottom.
I can tell. I can tell.
Personality profiles and
Yeah.
then like, Lisa.
Yeah.
I was just having it for.
Like Marcia, like your account.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
And
So I
for the
learned.
social. I know, I know. Seriously. Did one of those personality things that you were talking about. I got my master's done at DU, and it was funny because all of the accountants were the same. It's like we all popped out as the exact same personality type.
STJ or something.
Yeah, it was like they had a different greens and yellows and
Yeah,
reds. and-
yeah, that's kind of
Yeah. Really? You guys have it in your company, like who you're dealing with?
our entire.
If I could grab your guys' attention, we're gonna go ahead and start with Brittany.
Okay.
Hello, I'm Brittany Trepanier, and I'm looking for $32,000 to start Mountain Pool Fitness Studio here in Durango, Colorado. With stars like JLo and Lizzo showing off the mental and physical benefits that this new sport provides, but Durango is at a disadvantage by not having a permanent studio. So by opening a permanent studio, this will be the only pole studio on the western slope. I myself have to travel to either Albuquerque or Colorado Springs to take a professional class. And there has already been a shonen demand for these classes, with Durango Rec Center allowing me to have classes 3 times a week as soon as I get my podium poles. So Durango already has a plethora of class fitness options for people to take. We have yoga, cycling, CrossFit, even aerial silk. However, we do not have a permanent pool studio. And there isn't really a place for bridal parties to party together safely. So by procuring standing podium poles from the pole in Italy, partnering with the Durango Rec Center, and listing our classes on the Mind Body app, the #1 body fitness booking app used in Durango, that we will be able to offer these pole fitness classes to everyone here in town and the surrounding areas. So the classes we would like to offer don't also have to only be limited to inside. With our poles, they are stable to be taken to outdoor locations such as Buckley Park or having retreats in the surrounding San Juan Mountains. The different types of classes we want to offer are going to be intro to pole, pole fit, as well as a chair dance class to add some options. At the Durango Rec Center, we are only able to be there 3 days a week, but once we are able to finalize our permanent location, we will be open 5 days a week, offering 15 classes a week. So for our special events, we do want to offer bachelorette parties as well as celebrations and corporate retreats. This will allow 8 people or more to party together, have some fun, and celebrate those life's milestones in a controlled, safe environment. So each class, we're only going to start off with 8 poles. So 8 spots are going to be available, and they're going to be $30, which people would book for through the Mind Body app. The typical class here in Durango does cost $25 to $35. So by being right in the center, we hope to remain attractive to everyone who's already taking studio fitness classes. So who we're trying to target: students of all genders between the ages of 18 to 28, parents of all genders between the ages of 29 to 50, people who are already doing fitness classes. The reason why we have so many options available is because people love working out together. So now we just have another opportunity for everyone to connect, as well as our special event seasonal wedding market. And then Red circle represents everyone on the western slope, since I go to Farmington to get my nails done, and everyone I've talked to out there is so excited that there's going to be something at least close by like this. So I understand that I'm in competition with all fitness studios here in Durango. However, I wanted to highlight the competition that's specific to our industry. There is a wonderful woman, Sarah Wolfe, out of Pagosa Springs. She is very highly experienced with this. However, she is only able to offer classes on Tuesday nights, and she only has 3 poles. She does allow doubling up on poles, so that allows her to have 6 spots, and her classes are going to be more pole dance focused. However, I have only been doing this for about a couple of years, but I'm going to make classes that are more pole fitness focused. So anyone that's kind of worried about the choreography can still come and enjoy a great workout. And by offering 8 poles and never allowing doubling up, because after the pandemic, we'll be a little bit more of a convenient option, being held 5 days a week. So how I want to acquire my first customers will be listing on the MindBody app. I am currently in the process of planning my own wedding. So I've talked to all my wedding vendors, letting them know as soon as I get my poles, they're going to have a taste class, as well as be given free class passes for their local brides to come back and try a class to see how it's going to work out for them. That by using our high-end equipment, keeping it safe and hygienic by never allowing to double up on poles, and creating a sense of environment and community that you come to know with the fitness studio, we hope to keep our customer retention high. And by offering more advanced workshops and other instructors to come in, I hope to keep it nice and fun for everybody. So we tried to keep it conservative. For the first, with Durango Rec Center, we will be able to offer a total of 9 classes a week. And with only having 4 of those poles occupied for every class, we will be able to reach about $100,000 in revenue. Having our permanent studio with 5 days a week will allow us to have 15 classes a week, and allowing us to hit more of the over $102,000 in the first year. We are hoping to get more of our 75% capacity, having 6 out of our 8 poles almost taken every class to get closer to our $120,000 mark in our first year of sales. We do project a 10% growth of each year by bringing in other instructors as they learn, and hopefully being open 7 days a week. So a little bit about myself. I have been taking studio fitness classes for over 10 years. And unfortunately, when the pandemic came along, that option was no longer available. So I got a pole at home and just realized that, wow, this is a lot of fun. You get a lot of confidence. I just want to share it with, anyone who wants to try. It's kind of a new thing. It's been all over TikTok. There's documentaries about it on Netflix. I just want to bring that option to the fit people of Durango. I have to train at either Albuquerque, Colorado Springs. I have been lucky enough to train in Miami. So for the funding, I am looking for $32,000 so I can procure these poles, all the certifications I need, as well as get my permanent studio to make up for the gap in funding from the Hawk Tank 2 opening. I am also a Rural Women-Led Business Fund applicant, so that we can go ahead and move forward at any stage. And so, yeah, with the $32,000 investment, I do hope to make over $100,000 in those first year sales. Are there any questions?
It looks like a lot of fun.
Oh.
Some research on, like Phoenix has a couple spots and their classes, look like it's really engaging, and I would assume it's just hilarious as well when you're with a bunch of people, but
yeah.
But at the same time, it's a pretty serious workout, and it seems like Durango would be a good fit for.
Yes.
Would be a good fit for it. So, and the poles are a couple $1,000 a piece.
The ones I am procuring, they are about 900 US. I am ordering them from Italy, but they are the highest end in the industry, higher than the ones that X-Pole produces in America. So I was like, go ahead, get the professional grade ones in here, and then, get the good equipment.
So what's the difference in poles? Why would you want to go with the high quality one as opposed to a lower quality one? What are the differences?
So our biggest problem when I first started doing this was finding a location that allowed the vertically mounted poles that mount to the floor and to the ceiling. Those are ultimately, the safest option. With the podium poles, they have a big enough base that is weighted as well as stabilized with the spacing of the feet to be safe. And the ones in America just aren't, I guess, as up to date. Like they're on a little bit older technology, and the ones from Italy are more updated. They're a little bit lighter, and they have higher grade like wood platforms instead of like kind of like a padded platform that's a little bit more slippery.
So I've got a question about, you began your presentation with some names of some, J.Lo and people that are in fashion and in vogue right now that are doing this. What happens when this falls out of fashion and out of vogue? And I guess what I'm looking for is, would this have the longevity of like yoga or hot yoga?
I believe it actually already does, just in larger cities. So Denver and San Francisco, they have studios that are over 10 years old already with a heavy following. It's just been more underground. People have kind of only associated with like kind of strip clubs and everything. And so now that it's kind of like, oh, this is actually like a sport and people can take it like a sport, I think people are just going to be more open to keeping it an opportunity.
And why a studio?
I think
I'm looking at your business plan, and you've got, weddings here. You have a really nice table in your presentation. I'm looking at it, events, red, white, and blue theme events, back to school, football, Halloween, turkey, which is really great. So why a studio?
I think a studio is going to be the best way to make that community support. You don't want to just be able to go to a pop-up class once or twice a week. You want to be able to plan on which classes you want to go to, when they're going to be available. Sometimes you're not available every Tuesday. And so just being that like a consistent offering that people can, build their life around if they're able to.
And so why not just like go to the rec center and say, hey, I want this space, for these times, and what kind of contract can you give me?
We are doing that to start off. As soon as I get the polls in, I get to get in there, do a test run of how long it takes to set them up, the spacing, how long it takes them down to see, where they're going to fit me in the schedule. So that is definitely how we're starting out. I just think like a studio is going to be able to offer more classes, more times, more opportunities if students are really progressing, to give them an opportunity to teach and take, this even further. I definitely don't want to hold anyone back on their journey.
With your target market, I know you mentioned Farmington. Where else are you trying to like catch the net of people? And what does that how many people do you think you could actually get? Like the demographics of women, is there a weight limit? Is there a height limit? Like what does that look like? Do you know?
Yes, so there is no height limit. There is a weight limit. The polls say 350. To keep it safe, I'll say 325. That I'm hoping to reach. The numbers are kind of hard on this industry since there isn't a ton, but I hope to reach all of the people that are currently using MindBody, which in Durango, it looks like it was hard to find exact numbers on Durango, but about 2,500 users. Most of the studios are active on there. And as soon as you sign up with MindBody, you're just listed right alongside them. You don't have to compete with space. It's just like another offering. And so with Farmington, I'm also aiming to hit Pagosa, Vegas. I am in talks with the Lake Baicedo Community Center, just to have some classes out there for women who may not be able to come all the way in town, as well as at Glacier Club.
So what is $30?
So $30 is going to be what you book for your experience. So it's going to get you 60 minutes of class time. That's going to be a 5 to 7 minute warm up and about a 10-minute cool down. That it does include stretchings for splits, because that's just something that kind of goes with this kind of sport, and it's hard to work into a routine. So I think by offering that split stretching already, women are going to get the strength from the pole workout as well as the flexibility from all the stretching.
Have you looked into anything like monthly memberships versus just a per class?
I have started making some models of monthly memberships. I just want to see what kind of volume we were going to get before. I want everyone to buy a monthly membership and then not be able to get into a class to use it.
Are you waiting until you get all the polls? So it looks like you would need 9 polls or 8 polls. Are you waiting for all the polls before you start, or are you going to try and maybe get half and see what you can do?
I'm going to go ahead and get all 9 polls at once. With the shipping charges from Italy, it's just a little bit easier. Since they are such a high quality polls, they are in high demand. Having them in the United States, if for some reason I feel like, oh, I have too many poles, I can easily resell them to other studios or other professional pole dancers.
What about safety?
So that is always a big thing in pole dance. I myself are going to go ahead on June 2nd through the 5th to go get all the appropriate safety and teacher trainings for this. So I know how to properly spot people, as well as typically you don't introduce moves that get people off the floor in the first class. You know, it's typically just sits, some spins, walking around, and some kind of floor moves. As I see, if I see that students are, you know, wanting a little bit more, then I'm able to kind of progress as people are able to into more of the advanced moves.
And so it looks like you're marketing, I know you mentioned it before, as like a primary studio. What does the avenue look like for like moving around to, like you're talking about bachelorette parties, like Telluride, like bringing it over to Telluride, because that's a huge market over there for bachelorette parties. Is that, and going down to Farmington and even Santa Fe, are those options that you've looked into for marketing purposes? And
Yes, and that is one of the reasons why I thought when I figured out just go with podium poles, it was one of the easiest options that I would be able to offer those pop-up pole parties in Farmington. Even if a client has a space that's big enough and they're more comfortable having the party at their home, I could even bring them there.
do you need a big truck?
Luckily, no. I have just, I can fit, they are able to be broken down into 3 separate bags per pole. So I am able to transport them with my car or with a trailer if I also need to bring along the rollaway mirrors, the mats, anything else that the party would need.
Well, I think it's great. Look forward to watching you grow.
Awesome, thank you.
Sounds fun.
We do hope to be open in June of this year, so.
One more question about the Mind Body app. Could you explain more about what that is? 'Cause I just don't know.
Yeah, so fitness studios, an easy way so they don't have to handle like cash on site is able to go ahead and list their body on the Mind Body app. And so the Mind Body app is just going to be an easy way for clients to view fitness classes as well as book and pay for, manage their subscriptions and kind of be able to check out all the schedules. To some extent, some studios are even able to put their online classes on there. And so they're able to watch on demand and stuff. So it's kind of like, I guess, a one and all fitness platform for booking and viewing your classes.
Cool. Those are all my questions.
Good.
Thank you. $11:15 when the next one starts. And that's the last one. 15 minutes.
I'm heading over.
Oh, you're coloring.
Oh, good.
That's a bad idea. More work. No.
Oh, you guys are scheduled to start at 11:15?
Yeah.
We're taking another break.
Just to agonize.
Everything that could go wrong.
Yeah. No worries.
These are kind of scary.
My body.
I have it. I'm just looking in so you can see it.
Oh, nice. What do you use that for?
It's like with the.
Oh, okay.
Based off.
Gotta go across the street.
Something similar.
Oh, okay.
Like me. You pay. all
Okay.
through the app. And it's
Oh, nice. Okay.
it's like-
Are you vault or catacomb? Yeah. Before you go to the building?
Yeah, quick.
So it was like.
It was alright, I got $2.95 for one.
That's like
Thursday. Yeah.
and soul dunes, way back that far.
Good.
That was before my time.
Okay, where, well, behind
God,
Johnson,
damn.
everything.
Okay, yeah.
Now the train to space.
Yeah.
Back here, it's kind of their second.
That's kind of the point too.
And then you
Yeah,
go
you
to
really-
Okay.
Which is crazy. That's a disaster.
Yeah, cause I missed 2.5, but it's 10.
So like,
Yeah.
I think we had like four.
Oh.
And it was. Next to share the buildings.
Okay.
And then meanwhile, like. the whole-
The vault
That was
is
my
up
match
the
up, it was
ranch.
like
Oh
this.
my
Yeah, and it was
gosh.
just like.
That was my matchup. That was like this. Yeah.
It was just like private.
Yeah.
And then they text us Jay's.
Oh, wow.
Car wash out at this second.
Yeah.
Damn.
I mean, I had it like 6 months.
So that was the original car wash in Durango, and then it was cars. Was there. And then,
Wow.
Been here 23 years. And then when Tracy Wolfe, they wanted kind of like a they were finding catacombs. And then I started going.
Oh my God.
Their first location, which was right next to the crossroads. And then the Axiom Cycling Studio. And then after that. And that's it, but anyway, yeah, so it's. Yeah, so I go there.
My roommate,
Yeah.
left the apartment, so he left the food, so he
Yeah.
left like these, he left these.
You're talking about catacombs. Yeah.
Ugh. He left like frozen pizzas, I've been eating so bad.
It's like trying to. Yeah. I mean, the bigger studios are, they're full, they're busy.
What do you mean? Which studios?
Well, like, there's probably times at catacombs, especially for classes, but a lot of the new classes during the day, like, they're already having their own classes. During the day, so it's maybe just pressure there. But like, it's really just, that stuff around a lot. Sorry. Oh, you're very interesting. She's clearly into it. And I was just thinking like. I've done that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Super fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just laugh at each other trying to
So
do
these
stupid things. Yeah, oh
Thank you.
no.
No.
One drove by. And then one got there was one where you start driving. You started from the ceiling everywhere.
Oh, there's five, there's five.
Why do you think Axiom Cycling? We're talking about like the classes.
I was surprised, I never took class. But I only did I just I think.
Yeah, for real.
I don't know, like, I don't take classes. Okay, yeah, that one that I want to turn into a fixie. Maybe just don't. Cause like. He was been in the city. Really into soul side.
But they're like into a big city, or like going into that right. I see that when I'm in the city, but when I'm here, I go hiking, like I go hiking at Santa Cruz every day after work, you know what I mean? Versus going to indoor class.
It's I never heard it.
Yes.
Doing the first thing I was
It's hard.
Yeah, I can see that. If I were to do classes in specialty, so I'm doing cardio, it's on my own. If I'm doing like weightlifting, I'd rather go, like, I personally am the opposite of you, like, don't work out outside of my life. I'm like, whatever. On my own, I'm like, okay, I can go on my own.
I get there, so I start talking real fast.
Yeah, I like yoga classes.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I've been a
Kids.
Oh, wow.
I'm just trying.
Well, you know, we're going to yoga at Swan to this. So we have yoga people in there. It's great.
No, I just.
Sitting in an empty room, make eye contact.
No. I think it just happens when Shannon
Lock eyes with somebody.
I could just pretend someone's out there.
We have two.
We all have fitments and so pouch, right?
They've been good so far. Well, there's a. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You can see which
I wonder, it makes me look like I'm in Men in Black. Yes, I shoot aliens for them. I don't have that. But we have a clicker.
It's just the.
No, don't put
Yeah, I agree.
Stephanie got scores. The camera is just trying to smash it. This is
Thank you.
We're so ready.
But to be ready.
Oh, and the clicker thing is right here. Thank you.
Alright.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone had one. She was on.
Has a compass on it?
No, it's a laser pointer,
Oh.
but it looks like a compass.
Well,
Just saying.
you know, it's the thought that counts, right?
Thank you.
You don't want me to see it. when you pass it.
Yeah, exactly. Don't look at my answers.
You're on the board.
Yeah.
There's no hiding.
Huh? I don't know.
You still have about 2 minutes.
Oh, we're so ready for this. That's not
Well,
normal.
just so you know, I'll be over there showing time cards.
Okay,
So it's
awesome.
10 minutes left. You'll see 10 minutes, then 5. Look,
You
don't have a got it.
10-second countdown.
I'm sorry, that's my
I
bad.
think we should just stand up and play the final countdown during that last 10 seconds.
That's a good idea.
I think that would be very innovative. I don't know. I'm sorry. Stand here.
You don't have to stand.
Just don't hide behind. This is my good signs.
Just like like especially kids stuff. For me, it's crazy. And then access some of the terms that we do in the middle of the day, I'll just get up and bring up and hear them.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what it is. But you do heated wasteful like that.
Infrared, so it's like those smaller panels.
Yeah.
Right, and they like use the. And then you just.
We've done ourselves.
It really is hot, but
Yeah.
it's.
Whenever y'all are ready.
Oh, cool. Thank you.
Right.
It's great.
Yeah, all right. Hey, everybody, thank you so much for being here today. My name is Mara Benton.
And I'm Sarah Oberlander.
And we will be presenting Sustainable Solutions Manufacturing. So a little overview of what we'll be talking about today. We'll start with the problem we see that we want to try to solve. Then we'll go into the details about our solution. We'll go over the details of the business model, some unique attributes that set us apart from our competitors. We'll go into details about the team and why we're a good fit to run this business. We'll go over our marketing and marketing plan. We'll go over some milestones we have to meet in order to be successful. Then we'll touch on our competition and then a brief financial overview.
So the problem that sustainable solutions manufacturing is facing right now, as our world is facing right now, is an overuse of single-use plastic bottles that is impacting our ecosystems, natural resources, climate, and global warming very significantly in a very, very negative way. I put this quote up here just for some impact. Bill Gates obviously was the most, like, the richest man of the world, right, until Elon Musk. So even in the business community, we're seeing big businessmen and women say that climate change is terrible, and Bill Gates specifically saying, as awful as this pandemic is, climate change could be worse. This is a very big problem that is being recognized, but there are solutions that need to be found. Another problem that we see is that sustainability is inaccessible for a lot of people. So sustainability is expensive, and sustainable solutions that are already out there are not really feasible for day-to-day people that are just trying to live their lives without inconvenience. Also, we are targeting our product towards the hair care industry, as we will talk about in the next slide. But traditional plastic bottles that are used for shampoo and conditioner are very wasteful, meaning that there's a lot of product that doesn't get used due to the way that they are manufactured, and they're also just inconvenient to use. So our solution is an aluminum, or we will be manufacturing an aluminum airless pump bottle that is reusable and recyclable. In your hands right now, there is an airless pump bottle that is made out of plastic. This is kind of just to show what aluminum or what airless pump bottles look like and how that design is going to translate to our product and what we will be manufacturing. So because it's 100% aluminum, unlike the plastic bottles that you see here, we'll be able to go through single stream recycling, and they're also very easy to reset and reuse.
This is a simple way to minimize product waste because the product will be lifted to the top right here. So you can see if you press down, hand sanitizer comes out and a plate is lifting that up through a vacuum created in the bottom.
This is hand sanitizer?
It is, yes.
So I won't put it in my hand.
No, please don't. I don't know what that would do, but you have beautiful curls and I wouldn't want to see what that would happen. Also, our bottle is going to be affordable and accessible to all consumers through our e-commerce site, as well as we are going to be working with companies for wholesale in the future.
So a little bit about our business model. We'll really be focusing on product manufacturing and really streamlining the process of making these pump bottles out of aluminum. We will have a small branch of our company be focused on retail sales to direct consumers who maybe want 1 or 2 bottles for their shampoo and conditioner, but don't necessarily want to buy hundreds of thousands to package their product in. But mainly we'll focus on wholesale, where we'll be building relationships with businesses that already produce customized hair products and are kind of already looking at the sustainability part of business management and just trying to get our foot in the door there so that they will package their products in our bottles. So some things that make sustainable solutions manufacturing unique is our manufacturing facilities will be specifically designed to mass produce airless pump bottles entirely out of aluminum. This produces a 100% reusable and recyclable product. So consumers who are into the reuse part of reduce, reuse, recycle can wash it out and reset the pump bottle with whatever product they wish. Or if they're not really into refilling a bottle, they can just throw it in the recycle bin and it'll go back into the supply chain in the form of raw aluminum. And we really focus on reducing waste and product waste and packaging in the hair care industry.
So our team will consist of myself. I am an accounting and economics major, so I will have knowledge about how to do economic calculation and how to see a more financial and technical side of how our business is doing, as well as looking at our company from an economist viewpoint and being able to understand the market and how that changes.
All right. And I am a graduating senior majoring in entrepreneurship and small business. So I'll be handling more operations and sales of the business and just the nitty-gritty inner workings, while Sarah provides our overall vision and accounting skills.
We will also have 4 additional employees. 3 of those employees are really going to help with business-to-business operations and assist Maura mainly in sales and operations. And there will be an additional employee that solely focuses on innovation. So our manufacturing company doesn't want to just stop with this product. So that would be their job, is to discover new solutions and to help us fine tune the products or the product that we already have. So our marketing plan, we're first going to implement social media marketing. Digital marketing is the new marketing of our age. It's really being implemented successfully throughout a bunch of different companies. We're going to be doing this through sponsored posts like on Instagram and Facebook. We're going to put in a bid for Google Ads. Also, promoted posts are available on many social media platforms, and that is free with an account, with a business account. And we are also going to implement influencer marketing. So having lifestyle influencers kind of use our product and show a sustainable zero waste option to implement in their daily lives. We will also be reaching out to companies. Some of those companies include Function of Beauty, Olaplex, and Ava NYC Hair Care. These are all companies that are a bit smaller, and it would be easier to implement our bottles into their daily operations, as well as companies that are already headed towards in that sustainable direction. We will also be marketing towards the general consumer with our 16-ounce unit option and our 32-ounce option, and that will be available on an e-commerce website so we can sell directly to a consumer, making sustainability even more accessible.
As far as milestones go, the first and most important is securing the funding to set up that base of operations, our first warehouse and manufacturing facility, where we can really start stockpiling these bottles that we're making. And then the next step would be to secure our board of advisors, which we have Jeff Seville, Dr. Deborah Walker, and Dr. Thomas Miaskowitz lined up to just kind of help guide us on a roadmap to success. Then we'll start implementing that marketing plan to generate as much demand as we can for our product. And then once we have sales going out the door, then we can start purchasing more equipment to try to leverage economies of scale to the best of our ability. And then start networking and reaching out to various hair care companies so that we can start building those contracts and getting our bottles to them to distribute to the consumer with their desired hair care product. And then start to expand our production facilities so that we have facilities nationwide, so that for distribution reasons, we can get product to where it needs to be cost effectively and also quickly.
So our competition kind of varies because we're kind of entering into two separate markets. So the first two that we see here on this table are Ava NYC Hair and Procter & Gamble. Both of these companies make hair care products and are going in a more sustainable direction with aluminum packaging. The only difference between these two is that Procter & Gamble also makes refills for their products, so their goal is to reuse their bottles as well. Cosmetic packaging now is one of the top manufacturers for airless pump bottles in the US. They do, however, only make plastic bottles like you see here. So not really on the goal of sustainability that we pride ourselves on. So our company, Sustainable Solutions, is one of few companies that is going to implement this airless pump bottle design for easy use and also just convenience, as well as an aluminum design for sustainability. I would also like to premise that these two companies here, Ava NYC Hair and Procter & Gamble, could become potential collaborators in the future with our wholesale business-to-business options.
A brief financial overview. In our first year, we hope to sell 950,000 units, producing about $2.6 million in revenue. These bottles have around a 77% margin according to our assumptions on our financial projections. We have around 10% sales growth after the second year into the future. And then we have the potential to turn a profit in the second year if everything goes exactly how we said it would in our financial statements.
So with this $5,000 from Hawk Tank, Sustainable Solutions has the potential to become a business valued at over $5 million in the next 5 years. And that is definitely a great base for us to build off of.
Thank you very much for listening. What questions do you have for us?
Where are you making this thing?
We will have our own manufacturing facility that is in the future. Obviously, this is an idea that we are expanding on. Yeah, we will have our own manufacturing facility that will house all of our employees as well.
And with the real estate market, how it is right now, it'd just be up to where manufacturing space is reasonably priced to get started.
I mean, do you want to do that in Colorado?
Ideally, keep it close to home, but if prices are cheaper elsewhere, then we'll definitely pivot.
Have you talked to any contract manufacturers in Denver?
Not yet, no.
I've got contact information for that. Okay. This is a starting spot. And then dovetail with that, talking about IP, any patentable stuff here, or is it?
This product is, from my knowledge, it's not patented. It is a design that is used across a bunch of different companies. If it is, I would like to know, but it is not. So we have looked into it, and it is kind of a product that is open to use for a bunch of different companies.
Old tech.
Yeah, it's old tech that we're using in a new way.
So why would somebody want to pay, $8 for an aluminum bottle when something like this is $1?
The picture on the problem slide, plastic is a huge
problem in our world. We have used it way too much. The external cost of plastic is way more expensive than any internal costs of aluminum, in my economic opinion. So it's definitely, we're catering towards an audience that wants to be more sustainable, that recognizes that plastic and plastic waste is a problem, and combating that using aluminum products.
And throughout the life cycle of that plastic bottle, it will inevitably end up in a landfill in one form or another. You can recycle plastic maybe 2 or 3 times before it's finally made into carpet, and then you can't really do much more with it. Whereas aluminum theoretically could be recycled an infinite amount of times and just keep being used to make more useful items.
Do you know that it's actually possible to make an aluminum one of these?
Yes.
Have you made one?
We haven't made one. We don't have aluminum readily available, but we do know that it works.
Yes.
What kind of, it says that you guys would need machinery. Would you guys be doing the first products, or is this just an idea that you're gonna say, then we need this machinery in this location, and then we're gonna get like the aluminum and start doing it? What does that look like, getting the machinery? Do you know how to work it?
Right. So we'd have to work with people who manufacture the machines to manufacture the bottles and just kind of work out those specialized machines. Because they make machines for making aluminum cans, for instance, but not specifically for airless pump bottles. So getting the necessary dies and forms to make the bottles would take some negotiation. And then I'm sure through talking with the companies, they'd show us how it works and we'd get some coaching there.
So do you know like what even machines you need, or?
Well, in our financials, we assumed that these machines are similar to the machines that make aluminum cans. So along those lines, ideally, there is a machine that does all of the forming and shaping. And then we either print labels on them for people or just pack them in boxes and ship them out the door.
Is the material that you would use similar to that goes on an aluminum can? My understanding is that like the aluminum, I was thinking more of like her aluminum bottle thickness versus an aluminum can thickness.
Right.
What are you guys thinking?
We're thinking a traditional bottle that is already used in some of the companies I mentioned above. Is kind of in between that. It's about it's definitely not as thick as an Nalgene. It would be way too heavy and people wouldn't use it. But it's definitely thicker than an aluminum can, because you definitely don't want damages to your product, and that would definitely increase that.
Have you guys talked to like SCA Fabrication at all? I believe that they do make machines for canning.
Right.
And they travel all over the country doing this. Have you talked to them at all?
We haven't spoken to them, but that's one of the people that we could potentially work with to build these machines.
I mean, all their blanks come from Ball in Denver.
Yeah.
So I don't know if Ball would have, you know, your solution for at least the
They might.
bottle itself.
Yeah.
Right.
And then ship them down like they get their blanks. If you've ever seen their warehouse, it's like gigantic, like 50-foot stacks of piles of empty cans, and then they label on them depending, but
Yeah, as you said earlier, this is old technology, so it definitely can be made. It just might need to be made in a bit different way than we're used to making it, but that's all a part of the process.
Do you know how many parts are required to manufacture these?
There should be about 4. So there is the pump right here, which is one, and then there's the cap, and then the base and a plate. And the plate is lifted up through a vacuum that's created through air in the bottom. And then obviously there could be a lid or not. That might just be user preference. So about 4 or 5 pieces.
Do you need a machine for each one, or like one would do all of them?
We do not know that, actually.
Right, yeah, that'd be something, just seeing what machines we could build and what they can do. Because if it's as simple as just changing a die out, then easily we could use the same machine.
Have you been to a manufacturing plant where they manufacture packaging?
I have not.
Those machines are huge.
Right.
They take up a lot of
They
space.
take up, you know, a single machine can take up an entire warehouse to make one thing.
Yeah. And as Mara said, we are going to expand our operations once we kind of get that base network of either collaborators or consumers through our e-commerce site. So that is definitely something potential in the future, but we need just a base to start out.
With your supplier for aluminum, have you shopped around, or I saw in your business plan you had like a cost per pound? Is that just a fair market commodities price on the exchange, or have you talked to suppliers? Is that the aluminum number that you gave, is that gonna be the thickness that is required for the product that you're gonna be making?
Right, without having actually made them, I'm not exactly sure on the specs of the aluminum, but that is around fair market value. And then websites like Alibaba, just to try to find the cheapest aluminum, or reach out to suppliers in the future to see what they can do for us.
Who made the logo?
I did.
Pretty good.
It's from Canva, so it is like we can use it. It's available to anyone who uses the site, but it's cool. I liked it.
Gives a good message.
So one of the questions that I have with, sustainable solutions, and I'm not talking about your company, but the concept of sustainable solutions, is in the United States, in this room, we kind of get what Bill Gates is telling us. In China and India, which is where I think your picture is from.
Yes.
They don't. Even if every single person in the United States went sustainable with this, it seems to me it's going to be a minor impact. Have you thought about, with your vision of what you want to do, how do you involve other people outside of the United States?
So our kind of vision is that there is a demand for this product, and we're hoping that demand for this product will increase, or has to increase, because unfortunately our planet is kind of in a detrimental state of climate change. Eventually there's not going to be many other options. So we have not really considered like going global. That has not been something we have talked about. We're more focused on the US because starting small is always better, and expanding our impact through the US might help expand impact in those countries. But I do think that sustainable manufacturing as an ideal is going to not just become an ideal, but a necessity in the coming years with the impact climate change is having on our planet.
What gives you confidence in that statement?
Science professionals, just the fact that there are images like that that exist. I mean, climate change and global warming is something that we see every single day. I see it when I can't ski right now because the hill's closed because there's not enough snow. I think it's kind of right in front of us. So I'm confident that if we don't kind of get our act together, that this could be way worse than it should be. So, yeah.
Good.
Yeah, I think those are my questions. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah.
I know, I was gonna buy one right now.
Oh.
We go twice a year.
Oh, cool.
Then next week, fast track that.
That's all great.
All non-SI. Shares gratitude to teams, judges.
So then after that, as the judge's deliberation, I was changing. No, they're just gonna be eating. They just watch them eat lunch.
Yeah. There's any possible for this. Like just like. Yeah.
Yeah. Dr. Bill does is what's the top one? I don't still.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, you did 10%, that's all you need.
Yeah.
You know, it's not for
With the computer.
Instead of telling me to log out, so they can log on.
You all set? Last one. Last score. Okay, cool. Let y'all go. Perfect.
Am I cool to log off?
Yeah, totally
Super
log out.
valuable.
Yeah. I would think.
Yeah.
Are we gonna get the feedback?
Yeah, absolutely. So we can do, so how we can do the feedback is if you want to write any notes on anything, you can make sure you get the note.